but we didn't have the evidence. We didn't have it. But whether he had this kind of information or not, he knew by insight and knows by insight that the principles, the ideals, and the values of Islam are not contradictory to the parchment promises of the Declaration of Independence and the United States Constitution. When the Declaration of Independence says we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that is an Islamic concept. It's an Islamic concept more than it's a Christian concept. It's an Islamic concept more than it's a Jewish concept. That concept is all created. In both of those other dispensations, God bless them, and we have wonderful friendships, and we enjoy them, and we seek good relationship between Christians and Jews. But the fact is that if I, by representation, am seen as adopted into the family of God or adopted into the promise of God under somebody else's auspices who has a direct relationship with God, and the covenant is with them only and everybody else is just by subscription, then that's not telling me that all men are created equal. Huh? And if I look and I see all the angels are white and all the prophets are white, and the main prophet that you give me is white, then that kind of makes me feel like I'm not in the family of God. But when you come to an Islam that says no images in religion, you can't have any pictures of angels, you can't have any pictures of prophets, you certainly can't have any pictures of God, and it has no ethnic representation of it, then Islam is more in line with saying we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. And it goes further to say they are endowed by their Creator. That's Islamic. God says, He says, glorify your guardian Lord who created, who completed, who measured, who guided. Meaning the measure, the qadra, meaning He endowed. He endowed everything. And one of the things that God endowed all human beings with are rights that come with your birth, with your existence. You have rights that come just because you're born a human being. These are the rights that are respected by that declaration. Not because you're white, not because you're black, not because you're a property owner, not because you are born in America, but because you are born human. And these rights are inalienable. And why are they inalienable? They are inalienable because the people that are trying to alienate you from those rights were not the people that gave you the rights. You can't alienate me from rights that came with my birth because you didn't give me those rights. Now you can alienate me from rights that you give me, but you can't alienate me from rights that God gave me. Huh? See, that's why they went to war with a much bigger nation. They went to war with a much bigger nation because that much bigger nation was alienating them from rights that they say the Creator gave me. You see? And that's why African Americans relate, the enlightened African Americans, they relate to this Constitution, the whole war. I understand why you went to war. They're trying to take something from you that they didn't give to you. Don't you go to war for stuff like that? No, they didn't give you that. And so as a result, these inalienable rights, and among these, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Are these things contrary to the Muslim life? These are things not contrary to Muslim life. We want life. We want life. And not just life, we want the life that Allah created us for. And I know, brothers and sisters, this is a critical piece for Muslims in general. I don't feel or sense that Muslims at large have really gotten the deep appreciation that should be had for a statement like that. The life that we want is the life that Allah created us for. Allah created human beings for a particular way of living. He created us in this universe, and he oriented the laws of the universe in a certain way, and He oriented our nature in a certain way, and He gave us a way to live personally and in the universe that He created. Many people don't live that life. We don't live a life that's true to the nature that Allah created. And that is what al-Islam means. Al-Islam is Deen al-Fitra. And I conclude this portion of the khutbah with this. Al-Islam is Deen al-Fitra. And the verse of the Quran that makes this statement is فَأَكِمْ وِجْهَكَ لِدِينِ حَنِيفًا فِطْرَةَ اللَّهِ الَّتِي فَطَرَ النَّاسَ عَلَيْهَا لا تبديل لخلق الله ذلك الدين قيم ولكن أكثر الناس لا يعلمون. That verse says that your nature is Islam, and that nature of Islam is the same nature that is inherent in the material creation. Your religion is to keep your nature true to its original making. That's your religion. ذلك الدين قيم. That is the religion right and straight. But most human beings don't know that. That's what God said. He said, but most people don't know that. Do you know that the only job and the only purpose and the only reason for our living as religious people and Muslims to keep our nature the way that Allah created it? And all you got to do is look around the world, listen to the news, whatever. You can see there's a whole lot of unnatural people in the world. A whole lot of unnatural things going on in the world. Unnatural affections, unnatural behavior, unnatural institutions, unnatural attitudes, unnatural disposition. These are all things that are un-Islamic. But the idea is to become what God created you to be. That's the goal. And so most of what we do is about trying to get back to the nature that God originally created us for and originally created us in. رَبَّنَا لَا تُزِغْ قُلُوبَنَا بَعْدَ إِذْ هَدَيْتَنَا وَهَبْ لَنَا مِنْ لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْوَهَّابُ آمين اللهم آمين الله أكبر. When we talk about religious toleration, and religious toleration, listen, religious toleration was something that, little known, but something that that the British had enshrined as an important value. It was already an important value in Britain at the time, that we're speaking of. But when it came to America, when America was being formed, they moved it a degree. They upped the ante a little. Not only do we're going to have religious toleration. When they had religious toleration, and this was also a part of what the debate was trying to avoid. You see, even among the Protestants, there's Presbyterian, Episcopalian, the Baptists, and you have others. And certainly you have sex among Muslims. I mean, all you have to do is just look at what's going on in the Middle East right now, so you know you have sex. So it's not something that's peculiar to Christianity or the West. But the point is that toleration was really among Protestants. You know what I'm saying? The Episcopalian was told to, well, be tolerant of the Baptists. The Baptists being told to be tolerant of the Methodists, and the Methodists being told to be tolerant of the Presbyterian, etc., etc. So it was still only religious toleration within that circle. Well, in America said no. Religious toleration has to go beyond toleration within the Protestant ranks. Toleration has to go across the lines of religion, and that was the distinction between the religious toleration, how it was amplified when it came to America. And this is something that we have to uphold. People try to understand, how can you have a positive idea, attitude, or view about America? I can have a positive idea, attitude about America because I know what America is. That doesn't mean that I approve everything that the president does. I approve everything that the CIA does. I approve everything that the Federalist does. That's a part of the literalist thinking that's a problem in the Muslim world. Just like we invite the world to make a distinction between Islam and Muslims. Everything that a Muslim does not reflect Islam. Is that not true? Everything that a Muslim does not reflect Islam. And everything that a Muslim does cannot be said to be Islamic. Just because he did it, so well, that's how the Islamics do it. No, then you have to apply the same rule to America. Everything that institutions and governments and leaders do in the name of America are not American things to do. And when you make that distinction, then you treat them the way that they should be treated. And the whole and the ideals of Islam are again compatible with that. But let's make it crystal clear with regard to how Muslims and Christians relate. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we could say